Colorado Avalanche Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Toro, count on it. Ram Trucks. Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion. CenturyLink, a trusted technology partner, frees you to focus on what matters. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Shortline Subaru. Save money. Drive better. Avalanche down to the last 2 games of the regular season. Still do not know who they will play in the first round. Tonight's game could go somewhat towards alerting who the Avalanche are going to play. All right, the Avalanche and the San Jose Sharks tonight from San Jose as we give you the Ford starting lineup, beginning with the goaltenders.
Like a little bit of intrigue here. Not for the Avalanche so much. Reto Berra has been scheduled. He is in the lineup tonight. He's starting goaltender. He's a 27-year-old first-year pro. Comes over from Switzerland, a big kid. Very personal. Has worked hard for this opportunity. His second start. It's at the other end. Alex Stalock. Antti Niemi is supposed to have been that goaltender, in the playoffs for the San Jose Sharks. He won a Stanley Cup with Chicago, but now there seems to be some sort of like, which way are we going to go in that first round?
Coach doesn't want to say right now who's going to be the starting goaltender come playoff time.
Exactly, against the LA Kings, who have Jonathan Quick, and they know who their #1 goaltender is going to be.
All right, here we go. Avalanche and San Jose. From San Jose, 4th meeting of the year. Is the only Pacific Division team this season the Avalanche will play 4 times. Avalanche with a couple of wins and also an overtime loss against the San Jose Sharks. From center ice, the puck chipped in, around the board, stopped behind the net by Berra. Lifted out to center by the defenseman Erik Johnson. Leads the Avs defenseman in points with 39. Back to center ice, tipped ahead by Benoit towards the San Jose zone. Moving in, Landeskog, and a chance there, and deflected away. Boy, Landeskog just cruised in. Stastny pass in front, tipped wide by McKinnon. Trying to back in front, that gets blocked. And a steal by Landeskog. He's tripped up, and the Sharks have possession. So first real scoring chance of the game. And it was Gabe Landeskog moving in all by himself.
Off a nice pass by Nathan McKinnon. Nathan McKinnon on this line again here tonight. Not playing center ice, playing the right side with Stastny and Landeskog.
Crowd cheering, and that's because Tomas Hertl has come out onto the ice. Has not played since December 19th. He has the puck. Boom, the shot. What a save with a glove by Reto Berra. That's what Tomas Hertl can bring to the San Jose Sharks.
How about this for a compliment? Early in the season, the New Jersey Devils played against San Jose. Let's first look at the other end when you see the quick little pass from McKinnon to Landeskog. And Landeskog just misses to the outside. Great individual efforts by this line, but this line has been so consistently strong with McKinnon now back on the right side.
The Bears shot, and the pad save made by Berra. Talbot's pass up ice for Cleach. He's over the line. And the shot by Berra juggled, but then the puck settles into the glove of the goaltender, Alex Stalock.
So let's go back to the injury that cost P.A. Parental 15 games. It was, what are the odds? He's been banged up twice this year after missing 3 games total his first 3 years in the NHL. He missed 10 games from an injury he suffered against Winnipeg, and then 15 games the other knee against Winnipeg. So next year, he's got an 80-game schedule. He's not playing any games against Winnipeg, or how many games are scheduled.
Out at center ice, the puck shot back in the Avalanche zone. Passed across through the middle, carried down the wing by Paul Carey. He shoots in and dribbled off of the goaltender Stalock, but it went wide. Goes back behind the net, Stalock pushed the puck around the wall. Carried out to center ice. Tipped ahead by Tyler Kennedy. And the puck will roll wide of Berra. He's been tested really a couple of times already in this first period. Maybe the toughest test was that Good shot by Hurdle. He made the glove save on it. Whipped around the wall, cut off by McGinn. The former San Jose Shark puts the puck behind the net. Sharks have got it. Long pass to center ice. High Burns for Joe Thornton. Pass in front, and it just got away from Pavelski. Came into this game with 39 goals. Shot, score! Van Boyle now has a dozen goals this season as his shot goes to the far side inside the post to beat Bear and give the Sharks a 1-0 lead.
A little bit of a tough angle on Bear on this shot. So, Mike, certainly one when you watch the replay of it, Bear's he seemed to be in the right spot, comes out, and Mike just sort of gets through. And now comes an interesting moment. Anytime you score, Mike, from the bottom of the circle, you probably want that one back. It sort of went in between where the arm and body come together, and it just didn't quite close it up. And now the Avalanche got to know that, okay, you got to be a little rattled if you're in nets. You're Barra. I mean, it just is going to happen. So the Avs need to give him a good shift.
Tipped in by the Sharks. Pass behind the net for Pavelski. Checked against the boards. And the puck taken away. Backhanded out to center ice by Johnson. O'Reilly carries in, backhands it wide of the net. Puck rolls around the far side, pass to the point, kept in by Holden. O'Reilly shoots, and the kick save by Stalock, and the puck is chopped out in center. All right, let's give you the Subway scoring summary. And the Avalanche now are down 1-0. Boyle, his 12th goal of the season, with the goal coming at 3:01 in the first period. Thornton with an assist. Burns with the other. Thornton with 64 assists this season after picking up another one here in this first period.
60 assists is just a ton. This is the 7th time he's done it.
Of all the active players, only Yager with 8 seasons with 60 assists has done it more than Joe Thornton. Yeah, Bears got the puck. We'll have a face-off in the Colorado zone with the Sharks leading this one 1-0.
Well, you know that they're going to be doing some scoreboard watching with Dallas ahead right now, St. Louis 2-0. But the one thing about this club, Mike, that things like this, our early goal, have not set them back.
No. This is not a team that panics when they fall behind, is it?
We saw it last night. Vancouver had a real solid first period. Stastny makes a great play, ties it up. They go into that first intermission tied at 1.
Pass comes across. Braun shoots the puck down the ice towards the Avalanche zone and rolls back behind the net. Barry will retrieve the puck. He's got it. Looking to make a play. Wiggles watching him. And Barry throws it off the boards and gets it out of the zone. He'll come back down and behind the net to the San Jose end. Flip to the far wing. Up ice. Out to center. Get it. Chip to the head. And ricochets down the wall. Picked up by Malone. Walk it out in front. The chance to save. Rebound. And it's free. Holden scoop the puck to the corner. And taken out of the far side corner, James Shepard. Shepard with the puck. 14:30 remaining in the first period. 1-0 lead for the Sharks. And that goal by defenseman Dan Boyle. Holden's pass to center for Malone. Taken away. Sharks have got it. Center ice. Pass deflected. Avalanche have got it. Wilson moving in. He shoots and the puck gets tipped. And the puck has gone out of play.
Yeah, it's been a good sequence after that goal for the Colorado Avalanche. They kept the puck out of their zone. They're driving to the net. This third and fourth lines for the Avalanche have been terrific as far as being consistent defensively. And when the puck is in the offensive zone, doing a nice job, Mike, not getting fancy, not doing a whole bunch of over handling the puck. Get it on net, drive to the net.
Pereto trying to get free, get a shot, coming back after missing 15 games with a knee injury. It's going to be a penalty. on San Jose. Avs will get a power play unless they score on this delay penalty. Berra hustling to the Avalanche bench. Sharks touch the puck. And when we come back, the Avalanche get a power play opportunity. Down 1-0 to the San Jose Sharks. All right, let's see who is in the Groove. Presented by Groove Subaru. Tyson Barrie, in his last 11 games, his goals have meant something in the game.
And Mike, those are great numbers for a forward. Never mind a defenseman. I mean, and I think that's what's so interesting. The numbers have been so solid, and there have been so many big goals. Mike, look at this, Mike. This is my favorite. The 5-game winning goals. The average time left in the game is a minute and a half. He basically scores in the last part of games to win them for the Avalanche. 3 overtimes, 2 others in the third period.
He'll soon become clutch for the Avs this season. The Avs are on the power play. If they score, lucky winner will get an Avalanche prize to a 2014-15 regular season game. For a chance to win, register at afwonline.com/altitude. In the penalty box, Joe Pavelski, a tripping call at 6:23. And so the Avalanche get their first power play chance of the game. 3 for 11 in 3 previous games against San Jose. The Sharks' penalty killing, though, this season's been very good. They're 3rd best at home in the NHL. Pass comes to Johnson. And the defenseman for Colorado deep in the San Jose zone. Worked free by McKinnon. Spun up the boards. Barrie has the puck. Makes the pass to the corner. In the slot. Shot by McKinnon goes wide. Backhanded out of the zone by San Jose. Barrie will hustle back for the Avalanche to get to the puck. From behind the net, Johnson moves up the ice, or excuse me, Benoit moves up the ice, out the center, through the circle, and with 30 seconds left in the penalty. To O'Reilly to the point. Shot by Holden gets tipped, and the puck goes out of play.
Well, for the San Jose Sharks, they represent one of the clubs, Mike, one of the only 2 clubs that know exactly what they're doing in the playoffs. The San Jose Sharks will start at home against LA. When, that'll be determined Sunday night, Monday morning by the powers to be around the National Hockey League. But that is the only set first-round matchup, and it is going to be a great one.
Benoit from the point. O'Reilly. And they've met quite a bit in recent years. From the point, Benoit winds, shoots off the glove, rebound shot, and it's free back behind the net. Scooped loose to the corner. Sharks trying to clear it. Avalanche trying to keep it inside the zone. They do. But the penalty is over. Pavelski's out of the box. And the Avalanche 0 for 1 tonight in the power play. The puck comes around the board. Just 1 shot during that 2-minute power play chance for the Avalanche. Backhanded around by Demers, down to the far side and out of the zone. And Benoit come back to get to the puck. Sharks continue to lead by a score of 1-0. The Avs are out shooting the Sharks 6-4. Benoit looking to make a play. Get the breakout started. Fires it up, and the puck deflects out of play.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the safety of yourself and others around you, the National
Well, Mike, for the Colorado Avalanche, the one thing you wondered about, like, what kind of energy were they going to have? Now, it's a back-to-back game. We talked about that. San Jose did not play yesterday, but the Avalanche in Vancouver, it was a long night. There's just no getting around it, but they've had good jump early in this game.
Talbot brings the puck around the boards. Avalanche have had success this season against the Sharks. A couple of wins. And both those wins coming to the goaltender in net tonight for San Jose, Alex Stalock. Pass back in the Shark zone. Lead this game 1-0. Boyle with the goal at 3:01. Puck rims around for Hayden to get to. Pass swept away by the Sharks back into the Avs zone. Last time these teams met, Sharks had 49 shots on Semyon Varlamov, including 20 in the third period, but yet No goals were scored in the third period, and the Avalanche held on to get a 3-2 victory.
I happened to do that game between the benches, and I can't tell you how impressed I was. This is a very good team, San Jose. Maybe a little different club that they've had than they've had over the course of the last few years, where they felt they were so close. I think it's a bigger, deeper hockey club.
And they got better with the return to Hurdle. Marleau winds and fires and scores, and it's 2-0 for the San Jose Sharks. Marleau's 33rd goal of the season.
Well, he has been nothing, Michael, if he hasn't been a consistent offensive force for this San Jose club. He is just flying coming through that neutral zone, and he is such a big guy. I think one of the things about Patrick Marleau, you forget that he's 6'3", 215 pounds. He has one of the best strides and a great shot. Another 30-goal season. He just literally powers that one upstairs, and we're going to have a goaltending change right up the bat for the Colorado Avalanche.
Just 10 minutes and 11 seconds into his second start for the Avalanche. Reto Berra getting pulled out of the game. And it's J.S. Giguère who's backing up. So, Peter, you might want to explain. Semyon Varlamov not in uniform. Hey, this is all about rest right now, isn't it?
Oh, he's not injured.
For Varlamov.
He's not injured. It's the situation, the Avalanche, one of those rare situations. They have 3 goaltenders on their roster, so they have the luxury of doing this, resting Varlamov, allowing him to not even have to, worry about warm-ups or a situation like this.
Well, it's 2-0 for San Jose. J.S. Giguère comes in. Patrick Marleau, 33 goals this season. Came into this game 5th in the NHL in shots taken.
Oh, Mike, the worst of the worst. Landeskog is...
a hit on Barrie. Barrie is hurt, Peter. Tyson Barrie is hurt. Oh, boy. Meanwhile, Sharks come in, the shot goes wide, and Barrie is really... Peter, he is bent over at the waist. He just dropped his stick and skated over to the Avalanche bench.
And it was Demers on both of them, on the injury, on Landeskog and then Barrie.
Shot around the boards with Tyson Barrie. Skated off under his own power, but he's sitting on the bench right now. And it's the way it's situated here in San Jose, you can't leave that bench and go to the locker room. There's no runway, no hallway that leads to the locker room area. All right, there you see him, Tyson Barrie. Matt Sokolowski, the head trainer, standing behind him. Here's the hit. He wasn't looking, and he got smacked. San Jose leading this game 2-0.
Well, I'll tell you, Michael, that was one of the worst shifts I've seen in a long time. Demers on this. Here is the one that we have. Comes, oh my gosh, Barrie's watching the pass, and Demers comes across, hits him right in the head, and explodes up into Barrie. And Barrie, there you see him trying to get to the bench. Well, it wasn't 10 seconds before that Landeskog struggled to the bench.
I think all Avalanche fans remember this is the building where Dave Landeskog took a real hit, big-time hit from Brad Stewart. Kept him out for quite a while. Kennedy carrying the puck into the Colorado zone. Avalanche have made a goaltending change after the Marleau goal at 10-11. Coach Waugh didn't waste any time. He pulled Berra. Shot was wide of the net. Kennedy ties up in the corner with Holden. Puck rattling around. Finally, shift free. Thornton works it back up the wall. Reaches for the puck. Holden took it away for Colorado. Up ice for Malone. And we've got a whistle. Play is stopped, and We're continuing to watch to see if Landeskog or Barrie come onto the ice.
Yeah, and for Tyson Barrie, he had the insurance goal against the Edmonton Oilers, and then he had the winner last night against the Vancouver Canucks. One of the prettiest goals you're going to see. The way that he handled Mike, first of all, the space that the Vancouver Canucks gave him. And he was able to, and they moved into the middle. He used Talbot as a little bit of a decoy and just fired it. I mean, it was just a great hockey play.
Leads back to get to the puck, and he chipped it out of play. 7:19 left to go in the first. 2-0 for San Jose. Looks like Barrie's coming over the boards, Peter. There he is. Oh, that's good news for the Avalanche. Well, that looked like a serious hit he took.
Oh, no, Mike, it didn't look like that was a big time bomb that he got. Unfortunately, we're just hoping that he just, a little bit stung a little bit, and he's back out there.
The pop-up shot. Oh, that one banked to the front of the net. That Tomas Hertl, he can make some things happen. There's a guy who was the October Rookie of the Month. He had 7 goals in his first 5 games. He really just got off to a great start. And then a knee-on-knee hit with Dustin Brown in Los Angeles on December 19th. Took him out after 35 games. Backhand try by Talbot stopped. The stick of Stalock, the goaltender, is at the side of the net. But the Sharks have the puck. Turning back Shepard into his own zone. Makes the pass. Braun stumbled, but able to find the puck and send it in. Landeskog will catch up to the puck. Backhanded it in. So after that shift, we've seen both Barrie and Landeskog back out. Stastny circling the net, trying to center. Couture takes the puck. Was able to lift it up the boards. Didn't get out of the zone. Nice play by Johnson to hold it in. Then the puck is lifted, but the puck goes out of play. Luxury has an address. Cooney Lexus invites you to see the full line of Lexus all-weather drive sedans and luxury utility vehicles for 2014. They're available at Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village and Colorado Springs.
Both players, Landeskog and Barrie, have had a shift. Both players handled the puck. Both players, went through the neutral zone with some good speed. Good boy, for an Avalanche fan, that was a lousy shift.
Big sigh of relief, at least at the moment. The Avalanche trailing in the game. Time for Did You Know, presented by Stevenson Automotive. How many teams have gone from last place in their conference to first the next season? The correct answer be C1 1, C2 0, or C3 3. 53548, the number to text, and we'll have all the details during our third period.
Greg Sherman and Joe Sakic at the game today. I'm sure they were like us, wondering, okay, you got your captain and your emerging offensive star defenseman.
Hannon pass down the slot, backhanded across by Burns. Thornton picks up the puck. Sharks leading this one 2-0. Pass comes to Burns. Backhands around, waiting is Thornton to pick up the puck. He gives to Pavelski. Squeezed against the boards, but Thornton comes up for the puck. Johnson on him. And the puck carried out in the center. Pushed ahead by O'Reilly for McGinn. Poke check to try to get around Demers. And the puck slides free behind the net. Pavelski's got it. Finds Scott Hannon. And the Shark defenseman shoots the puck to center ice. Launch back across by Benoit into the Sharks zone. We approach 5 minutes remaining in the period. Bounce pass to center. Benoit took it away. A little flick, but it's knocked down by Hannon. Takes a hit from Bordelot. And the puck bounced back towards the San Jose blue line. Pass through the middle. Throw it over the line. Wingle shoots. Slowed up. The puck behind the net. By McKinnon, slips away from Hertl. Carries out the center, makes a nice move to get by Shepard. Coming down the wing, he turns, fires a pass, had a block, and sits out the center. That was Hertl who broke that up, and then McKinnon takes a slash from Wingles. There's another player getting angry with McKinnon.
the last time these two clubs met, there was just Semi Varlamov was absolutely outstanding. Mitchell ended up like a goal and assist. He was just coming back from an injury, and he got the game winner for the Avalanche. But again, we're just watching, Mike. This is a game that has taken on a real interesting tone. We saw Bordeleau come across on Hannon.
Oh, he nailed him.
And he nailed him, like really nailed him. And then you're looking at a situation out of the corner where Ringo comes in on McKinnon and goes after him. McKinnon gave him a little shot. So this game is
only the first period here.
Only the first period.
It's
got some stuff going.
Malone and to fend off Andrew Desjardins. Shot to the front of the net, save, rebound sent wide. Kennedy with a backhand flick gets blocked. Pass in the slot, shot gets blocked, and it comes out to center. That try by Matt Irwin. Boyle is across for Irwin in his own zone. Rink wide to center ice. Back in turns. Oh, the hits are coming here in this first period. And McKinnon had to slip away from Kearns. And the puck lifted ahead. Better keep your head up here in this game, huh?
Yeah, that's the one thing about being tired. I mean, sometimes you don't make the right play in situations. You got to be thinking. Now you got to ratchet up on the bench. Everybody talking. Everybody getting everybody involved. Because San Jose is not slowing down in this hockey. I mean, they really don't have anything at stake in this game. They're coming hard.
Reading things, Peter. If you're the coach, what you're trying to do if you're San Jose is make sure that you're going in the playoffs. You know you got Los Angeles. That's going to be a tough series. You better be playing your best hockey. Be playing tough hockey. It's harder to flip that switch. The coaching staff wants to see them play that way for 2 games going into the playoffs. It starts here tonight.
It starts here tonight. They go to Phoenix tomorrow, so those are the last 2 games they have.
Parenteau inside the blue line. Taken away, Thornton. Up ice for Braun. Parenteau had the puck, bounced free into the corner. Thornton's pass for Pavelski. And he got the one-timer off, but it went wide. Johnson's pass off the skate of McGinn. And Burns, quick pass up ice for Pavelski. Pass into the slot, jumped over the stick of Thornton. Goes back behind the net. Well, this line's making some things happen for San Jose. Look at Stalock, came almost off the way to the blue line before making that pass. But an offside play on the Sharks.
Well, Mike, you win the Calder Trophy, you get all the attention. You get all the attention. There's Backes with the St. Louis Blues, Kessler with the Vancouver Canucks, and then tonight again. And again, like we've talked about it, and he's just a hockey player. This stuff doesn't bother him one bit. Now you got to be aware, and you got to know. Okay, guys are coming.
You're saying he's not intimidated.
Oh my goodness, no. I talked to him after games about some of these things that are going on. It's like there's a lot more in the silly juniors, where guys were just coming for no reason, no situation. At least there's a hockey purpose behind some of the stuff that he's been getting involved in.
Shark Shepard going to go to the front of the net. Poke checked away by Gannon, Colorado. And Benoit to center. Lost the puck. Hurdle. Bumped by Bordeleau. Leach to the puck. And it is flipped out of play. Face off coming in the Avalanche zone with the Sharks in the final 2 minutes of the first period leading 2-0.
Yeah, a little bit of obviously not a great period for Berra. And, J.S. Giguère gets another opportunity here tonight. Played really well against the Edmonton Oilers in that 4-1 win for the Avalanche, but you have to be feeling for Berra. That's we've watched him, we've talked with him. He's been working so hard to get this opportunity.
2 goals on 5 shots, and barely over half of first period, and you get pulled. All right, let's get you updated. Avalanche scoreboard watching. Wow. The St. Louis Blues are just struggling to score goals right now, and they now trail Dallas. And give Dallas some credit. They're playing pretty well right now, but for the St. Louis Blues, Peter, they just simply can't score goals right now.
Coming into this game, In the last 4 games, they've been outscored 16-4, and they're getting shut out here 3-0. But they have no Backus, no Oshie because of an awful hit by Mike Rupp their last game. No Morrow, Tarasenko, Sabatka, and Roy are all out of the lineup. Like, that's 6 of their top 9 forwards.
And their last game will be against the Detroit Red Wings at home.
Yes.
Right, for St. Louis.
An on-TV afternoon game.
But if St. Louis loses tonight, it looks like they're on their way to that happening unless they pull off a little miracle here. And the Avalanche win. And that game doesn't mean anything. Oh, there was a dangerous little play. Curtin shipped it out in front. Kenny back to the puck. The key is that the Avalanche had the tiebreaker. If the Avalanche finished with the same amount of points as St. Louis had the tiebreaker. The first tiebreaker. Over the line pass. Returns. San Jose offside.
Well, for the, we've talked about the Vancouver Canucks. It was last night's game was the first game that they had played after being eliminated. Now, San Jose certainly hasn't been eliminated, but this is their first game after the Pacific Division Championship was won by the Anaheim Ducks. So, there is that sort of sense that is there going to be a little dip, and they've certainly at least physically come out and had a good period. The Avalanche, Mike, have not played badly in this first period. I mean, it has not been an onslaught of offensive stuff. It's been a good, solid period. They've been strong defensively, just a couple of quick shot goals.
The Avs are actually out shooting the Sharks 11-7. Penalty coming up on the Avalanche. And then Parenteau gets angry with Thornton trying to get involved with the big guy from San Jose. So just 30 seconds left to go in the period. Erik Johnson on his way to the penalty box.
Well, here's the penalty in behind the net against Johnson as he just gets tangled up and makes that little loop around the player's neck. Down he goes. Then there's some pushing and shoving. But this is a big penalty kill if the Avalanche want to stay in this game. You've got 30 seconds to go here. Get back in the locker room. Get things sorted out. Because as I said, I don't feel the Avalanche were swamped by any means in that period. And you just want to get back, sit down for a second, get things straightened out.
You certainly know for the Avalanche that the team that is in the situation down 2-0. This team that doesn't panic, doesn't feel that they can't come back, as they have so many times this season. Burns moves the puck in, gave it to Pavelski in the slot. Shot blocked nicely and then cleared out by Cleach of Colorado. And just a few seconds left to go in the period. One last drive, stopped by Giguère. And there'll be a carryover of 1 minute and 30 seconds of power play time for the Sharks. Boyle scored the first goal at 3:01, and then a goal by Marleau at 10:11, and the Sharks lead this one 2-0.
Yeah, and you look at it and you know how well the San Jose Shark can play. But the Avalanche, as I said, we're not trying to make excuses or anything. They were solid, just a couple of tough ones maybe that got in the Paspera.
And fortunately for the Avalanche, saw a couple players get hit hard, but then continued to play in the period. Our score at the end of one, 2-0 San Jose. San Jose Sharks with goals from Dan Boyle, Patrick Marleau leading the Avalanche 2-0 after one period in San Jose. All right, let's see tonight's Coors Light Cold Hard Facts.
Now, the cold hard facts are if Dallas continues the way its game is going, Mike, they will become the 16th team in the playoffs. Both sides will have all 8 of the playoff contenders in this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. So this is a big moment in Dallas. They've been out of the playoffs for a few years now, 5 I believe, and then we'll be back in the playoffs. But for Patrick Roy, Mike, they'll be knowing that the St. Louis Blues lost that game and the Avalanche with a win or a point at least, are still going to be moving forward.
And for the Avalanche, it's still so much up in the air as to who they will play in the first round.
At least Phoenix would be out of the mix, as far as that. They As of earlier today, it was Dallas, Phoenix, Minnesota, Chicago.
They'll just eliminate Phoenix once that game is done between St. Louis and Dallas. Shot from the point by Boyle, and that one popped off of a goaltender, J.S. Giguère, and went wide. It's a power play for San Jose. Carryover from the first period. Penalties on Erik Johnson. Shot by Marleau. Stopped by Giguère. Give back to Marleau. To the point. Held in by Burns. Feeds it across. Pass over to Pavelski. Top of the circle. Back to the point for Burns. And a tip by the Avs sends the puck out of play.
Oh, some pretty good puck movement on that passing for the San Jose Sharks. This is a skilled hockey club that has some big guys. You got Burns, you got Thornton, you got Marleau. They're all tough to move. Pavelski, certainly not a big guy, but he is extraordinarily skilled. So, like, this is going to be an interesting playoff. And, interesting playoff this year because, you know, the San Jose Sharks feel that they're much better prepared for the playoffs against the LA Kings this year than they were last.
Avalanche trying to kill the penalty. 30 seconds remaining in Johnson's penalty. Sharks are up 2-0. Good hit by Benoit. Frees up the puck. Goes to the corner. Rammed around the boards, and it angles out.
Did you see who left with Matt Sokolowski, Mike?
I just looked down. I saw the head trainer, Matt Sokolowski, leaving by himself.
Yeah,
I didn't see anybody with him.
But the Avalanche bench looks a little light as far as, you know, bodies.
Pass to the point. Shot in traffic. Save made by Giguère. And he's able to hold it for a face-off.
Well, we've talked a lot about the way that Andre Benoit plays. He's got such skill. He reads the play. He understands it. Like, one of the things we, maybe don't talk enough about, the physical nature. He will take the man when the play is there. He will take a hit. I mean, that's one of the reasons why there's respect amongst his teammates is so big. I mean, it doesn't matter what the situation. He's another one of those guys. He's a hockey player. He'll take the play.
Well, if you tuned in late, starting goaltender tonight, Reto Berra for the Avalanche, his second start in an Avalanche uniform. And his 31st appearance overall this season. He's been with Calgary. Nice glove save by Stalock. Well, Berra gave up 2 goals in the first 10 minutes and 11 seconds, replaced by J.S. Giguère about midway through the first period.
And this, for the Colorado Avalanche, this is just a tough place to play. Now, inside of those 11 straight wins by San Jose, the Avalanche are 0-7-4. They've gotten the game into overtime or a shootout 4 times, but they have not won in a long time.
Those 2 consecutive nights, Peter. Last night we were going against the Vancouver Canucks. The Avalanche had gone the Canucks had gone 11-0-1 against the Avalanche in 12 games against Colorado at home. 2 tough buildings for the Avalanche to pick up wins. Tip in front, and Stalock is able to steer it away. Carried to center by Burns over the line for Thornton. Drops on side, nice pass down low for Pavelski. And that's why when you make a pass like that, you can see why you get 64 assists in a season. That's who Thornton has at this point. Thornton makes a pass behind the net, bounce out to center ice for Pavelski. Broken up by Thornton. Snacks the puck to the Colorado blue line. Erik Johnson takes it. Cross ice pass off the skate. And brought through center ice, lifted ahead. Couture coming in, tough angle. The save made by Giguère. Back to the corner for Couture. Shoved away from the puck by Holden. Sharks trying to hold the puck inside the line. They do. Havlat had it, lost it. It's cleared out to center ice. Sharks get it back. Totally back into his own zone. Boyle. Pass right up the middle for Havlat. Into the cross. Marleau. His pass broken up by Stastny. Carried in by McKinnon into the San Jose zone. His pass deflects but held in. Holden shot. Save. And then the rebound try by Johnson was denied by Stalock. But there's an example. The Avs defenseman Erik Johnson that time right the top of the crease trying to get a rebound.
That was a quick little odd man break for the Avalanche, and Johnson just continued to the front of the net. Holden does a nice job to get it through. And the Avalanche, they've had a couple of chances. Stastny actually tipped that one. But here's the Marleau pass earlier, Mike. That's just, he lobbed that one up and over. Mike, a little later in the period when the ice isn't as good as it is right now, that would have stopped almost perfectly. It was just like, just got away from Couture just a bit.
I still not quite skid over enough to get that friction that could have set that one up. We're just 3.5 minutes into the period to the point. In the slot, tipped on net, save made by Stalock. Puck chased down by Malone. To the point for Benoit. Back to Malone. He shoots, and the save made by Stalock. Cleared out by the Sharks.
Like the Avs are starting to come. They're starting. As Max Talbot said between periods, Patrick Ross told him just to relax. They get this thing going.
It's starting to happen now. Malone pushed against the board. Sharks up 2-0, maybe coming off the gas a little bit here in the second period. The Avalanche, they're a team that can just start getting it going any point. Never think they're out of any game. Racing after the puck, Bordeleau fights through a hit. Moves the puck behind the net. Leash centered in front. He had Holden sneaking in from the point, but the puck tipped and went over the glass, out of play.
Well, since the Olympic break for the Colorado Avalanche, Mike, they have been absolutely rock solid. They're 8-1-1 their last 10 road games. They're 15-5-2. And Mike, here's one of my favorite numbers. Inside of those 22 games, 19 times they have scored 3 or more goals. 15 times they have allowed 2 or less. This is a 3-2 league. That's the score right now. That's the most common score in the National Hockey League. And the Avalanche are doing a terrific job of winning those games.
Nick Holden for Colorado. Gets bumped along the wall. The puck comes free. Havlet puts the puck into the corner. And it gets tied up there. We've played 5 minutes in the second period. Puck worked free by the Avs. Lifted to center ice for Bordeleau. His pass broken up. And there was a hit. Desjardins, a couple times in this game, has gone for hits.
And twice has been Bordeleau.
That's out to center ice. Thornton's pass over the line for Burns. So offside, San Jose.
Here's the one a little early. Stewart, but here comes the bigger hit right here. Boom. He gets popped. And Desjardins again on a later in another shift.
Puck circles around the boards. From the point, shot misses the net. And it comes up the wing and is now a official score. Dallas has beaten St. Louis, shut them out as a matter of fact, 3-0. Shot by McKinnon, save made by Stalock. So now for the Avalanche, they can come back and win this game. It would be just amazing, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And to the Dallas Stars, congratulations. That was, they for a while they looked like they were out of it. Lindy Ruff has done a terrific job keeping that team together. Jim Nill, great job as general manager. A couple of very, very aggressive trades that changed the whole look of that team.
Havlet cutting across. He dekes, turns from the center for a pile of players in the crease. And the puck is backhanded out to center ice. Havlet gets it again, stripped of the puck by Stastny. And stripped back in. Down the slot comes Couture, shoots, big save. Made by the goaltender, J.S. Giguère. He's played well since they came in relief. But the Sharks still lead 2-0.
Michael, here is the hit that we're assuming is part of the reason Tyson Barrie is not on the bench for the Avalanche. I mean, he just gets rocked coming across right here, and high, hard hit. against Tyson Barrie. He did come out, and Ryan Wilson now has had a shift or so on defense since Barrie left. Mike, second shift after the period started.
So Matt Sokoloski, the head trainer, head to the locker room, and unfortunately for the Avalanche right now, no Tyson Barrie available. No official word from the Avalanche as to why he's not on the bench. Couture moves the puck around the boards. Avalanche make a steal. It's O'Reilly. Dropped it for Johnson. Trying to center. Broke it up. Turned up off the boards. O'Reilly keeps the puck in at the blue line. No, linesman decided that didn't happen. Actually, it's an offside Colorado situation. So face off in the neutral zone.
And for Ryan O'Reilly, the first game. I cannot remember, Mike, another game where he started at center ice. This season, I think he's, a couple of times there's been that opportunity, but Patrick Waugh has gone the other way with John Mitchell out of today's game. Hopefully, he's not going to be out too long for the Avalanche.
And there's some hope, I think, Peter, that on Sunday, the Avalanche are in Anaheim against the Ducks, that Cody McLeod can make a return from his ankle injury. He's been skating on this road trip, and I know anxious to play.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you get in a game like this, it's got a little bit of bite to it. He gets that hockey blood going. He's very interesting to talk to after these type of games.
Yes, indeed. McKinnon taking the face off. Have Malone and Paul Carey out with him. A young line, not a lot of NHL experience. McKinnon has the puck. He turns and shoots. Saved by Stalock. Punch free for McKinnon. After now out shooting the Sharks 18-13. Pass up ice for Tomas Hertl. Tipped it out to center. Wingle back behind for Demers. Up ice. Got by Hertl. And the Sharks calling it for icing. Avalanche have clinched a playoff berth. Round 1 tickets are on sale right now. Although there could be 3 options as we speak. Who they'll play. Get your tickets at ColoradoAvalanche.com. Now, everybody has their own thoughts. What do you think Avalanche fans would like to see the most? Chicago, Minnesota, Dallas in the first round.
You take what you get when you're coming back into the playoffs. It's so much fun. But Chicago, I would imagine.
Stanley Cup champ. They're always fun games, too.
The name game. Yeah, exactly. There's a style to it that is so enjoyable. I mean, the fans in Chicago love when the Avalanche come there because it's just that constant skating, moving. But again, for the Colorado
Avalanche,
had
history with all 3 teams in the playoff series before, haven't they?
Absolutely. It was Patrick Waugh's last game against Minnesota.
They've had good history against Chicago, good and bad against the other 2 teams.
Yep.
On the face-off, put behind the net by Earl. Rammed around the boards. Holden, really nice play to keep it in. Inside the blue line. Give to Landeskog in the corner. Knocked down. Puck back up in the air and then rolling along the edge into the corner. Desjardins. The puck to center. Oh, wait a minute, we got a whistle.
Yeah, it's a high stick of the puck. The referee. Oh, what kind of night have we seen here? This is the kind of those are tough to watch. You know how much they hurt. Here's Landeskog coming in, and fortunately, it certainly did not look to be his head. And Bordeleau is coming across right here. But these are the little things I was talking to you about, Mike, that this San Jose club seems to have a little bit of a meaner streak than maybe some of the teams in the past.
Well, when they play Los Angeles that first round, they better be mean. Los Angeles, they'll be ready to play.
Yeah, it's a tough team to play. And as somebody said, even if you get out of it, you're not going to get out of it clean.
Carried in by Holden, working his way down the boards. He shoots off the shoulder of Stalock. And then back behind the net, Couture comes up with the puck. Stops. Makes the pass back behind the net. And it's controlled by Justin Brown. Braun shoots it up the ice. Little tip. Outside the line, the puck up in the air and snagged by Landeskog for Colorado. It's the pass to McKinnon. Behind him for Johnson. Pass across. Stastny with the puck to center. Broken up. Carried it across by Thornton. Stripped away and brought the other direction by Erik Johnson for the trailer. Back towards Johnson. That's picked off. Got out to center ice to race to the puck. Hayden got the line to get to it. Broken up though. What a pass by Thornton. Burns could not do it through the legs of Landeskog, but the whistle had been blown anyway. But oh my goodness, what a pass by Thornton.
You know, when you watch Joe Thornton make these kind of plays, these sort of magical, how did he possibly see this guy open passes, it's amazing to think that because he played for so long in that dead puck era, Mike, that he doesn't have a point a game. Here's Holden later on. Joe Thornton doesn't average a point a game, and yet he is the best passer, pure passer in the game today.
P.A. Parenteau returned after 15 games missed with a knee injury. Corner for O'Reilly. Gets checked on the far side by Brad Stewart. Puck comes free. We approach the halfway point of the second period. Stalock makes a pass up ice. One thing we've noticed with Stalock, he is not shy about going to get that puck and handling it.
We haven't seen him that often, and a couple times we have, he hasn't played like this. This is the most aggressive we've seen a goaltender all year.
Earlier in the first period, getting all the way almost to the blue line, handling the puck. He's out of the net again. Kicked along the end board, in the corner, Carey. Freed up. Centering try by Malone, deflected back behind the net. Carey. Short pass to the point. Shot by Wilson, deflects. And the Sharks have got it. Pass by Hurdle to center ice. Wilson back to get to the puck. And Hurdle cuts across. Makes the pass to the point for Braun. He shoots. Off the skate and wide. Down low. Hurdle. Kirkland centering. Boy, now you can see how good a player this Tomas Hurdle is.
And how much he's going to add to the offensive power. It was mentioned that Yager, a countryman, said, he reminds me a lot of me. Well, can you imagine how heady that is for a young Czech player? I mean,
really,
when Yager was saying he plays a lot like tall, he stands tall and makes those kind of moves.
To the point, Holden slides across for Ginnon. He shoots, stopped in front of the net. Tipped up off the boards out to center ice for Kern. Held up by Holden as he got to the line. Giguère has been rock solid. He's coming in replacement of Barrett. Shot, save again by Giguère. Well, he has been good since he came in midway through the first period. We do get a whistle here in the second period. J.S. Giguère keeping the Avs close. 2-0 Sharks.
Well, Mike, for the Colorado Avalanche, we talked about it, but it's worth commending the Avalanche. The Avalanche will end this season with the best road record in the National Hockey League. No matter what anyone else does the last couple of days of this schedule, their 55 points that they have now, never mind these last two road games, are the most anybody can have. And it's a tremendous mark. When you're the best road club, that's a real credit to your hockey club.
Here they've won their last 5 games in a row on the road, so they are hitting their stride right before the playoffs. So it's important. You've got to win some games. It comes down to it on the road in a very hostile environment. Starts with the puck, pass in front, kick save made by Giguère, and McKinnon racing out to center. McKinnon trying to spin away from Braun. Stays with him. Leaves the puck behind the net. 7:30 to go in the second period. 2-0 San Jose. Knocked down with a glove. So a hand pass called on the Avalanche.
Well, for Nate Ginnon, he, Johnson, and Hayda are all members of the 100-100 Club. Something Michael I was never even close to. 100 hits, 100 block shots in a single season. Wasn't even my career.
I was going to say your career?
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you, those are the guys, Mike, that they're doing it every night. Because over the course of a season, to get to 100 shots, block shots, you've really, you really put in the effort. And especially a lot of times those are guys that kill penalties, all that stuff, all that dirty work as far as hockey players go.
At center, Thornton moves the puck behind him for Irwin to take. Pass directed in. From center ice by Burns. There's Thornton, Burns, Pavelski line. Back out for San Jose. O'Reilly with Parenteau and McGinn countering. Burns with the puck. Pushed off the puck by Parenteau. That allows O'Reilly to gain the line into the San Jose end for the trailer. Johnson shot, save made by Stalock.
Well, the defensemen right now for the Avalanche are really creating some trouble for the San Jose Sharks. Here Johnson coming in, you see that everyone thinks they've got everyone covered, Mike, and Johnson's jumping up into the hole. What a nice play by O'Reilly. Wait, look off, and then throw it back, and Johnson jumping up. We've seen it all season long. It's a 3-on-3 down low. Everyone's covered. There's nothing you can do, and all of a sudden that defenseman shows up just inside the zone, ready for that quick pass.
Has won the faceoff. McKinnon and muscle his way along. Back towards the blue line for Wilson. Down the boards for McKinnon. Going to work his way in front. Got poke check. Tomas Hertl. Back towards center ice. Oh, and Wilson lined up Shepard for a hit. Nailed him.
Well, he hasn't played defense in a while, Mike, but we've seen over the years.
And that time then Shepard tried to come back and put a hit on Carey. Puck pushed back behind the net. Yeah, we've seen Wilson through the years. Oh, he's had some big time shots.
Just this side of Rob Blake. Rob Blake was probably the best at that the Avalanche have had.
Irwin's pass for Stewart. Let them out towards center. Forced towards the boards. Bordeaux makes the steal. Off the back to Dave Jardin. Shoots the puck into the Avalanche zone. Kennedy hustling for the puck. He's got it for the Sharks. Works his way behind the net. Wilson on him. Trying to tie him up. And the puck pushed back towards the blue line for the Mariners. And that puck ends up being iced by the Avalanche. Well, there's some things happening away from the puck here, don't we?
Yeah, but there's the hit on Wilson, but as the players were moving from side to side, going to the benches. This is Mike, when that change, it's the long change, so you really do go right past each other. One of the Avalanche players was knocked down. Yeah, Ryan Wilson, he was on the left side defense, so he comes all the way across on just a big time hit. Well, the referee's talking to just about everybody.
Has won another faceoff. Bring the puck up the boards. Mavs got it. Out to center ice. Shot ahead by Talbot into the San Jose zone. He hustles through the puck. Into behind the net for Bordelot. Hand off to O'Reilly. Cuts across. He turns and his shot deflects wide. At the line. Nice play by O'Reilly. Down low for Talbot. Pass in front. Score! Patrick Bordelot! But you go back to the play by O'Reilly at the blue line to hold it in. And the Avalanche get that first goal of the game. And now they trail 2-1.
Just a terrific shift. And you talk about a makeshift line. We got Talbot, you got O'Reilly and Bordelot, guys that really haven't played that much together this year. But O'Reilly's a little chip, and that, Mike, that was a pass by Talbot coming out of the corner. That was a perfect pass. A little spin, turn, throws across in front, and the Avalanche, Mike, in a game that, when you saw the start of it, you went, uh-oh, down 2-0. This could be a long night. They just kept fighting and fighting, and now they're right back in it. And that confidence of all of those games they played like this comes into play.
Avs have the puck again. Parenteau to center. Yeah, oh man, there was a hit on one of the Shark players. Parenteau delivering the hit on Stewart. He's the one who made that big hit on Landeskog. And Avalanche fans will remember. Patrick Bortolo scoring his 6th of the year. 2-1.
Well, he missed 15 games, but great to see P.A. Parenteau back in the lineup for the Avalanche. The stick kind of runs up the stick of Stewart, but right, the rules are you got to be in control of your stick. When you hit the man in the face, you're going to the box, so the Avalanche got to kill off a power play. And this is a really good group right here on the ice right now. You got Thornton, you got Boyle, but the X factor in all of this to me is the guy Burns, because of the shot that he has. Pavelski, you'll know, is going to score goals because he's just got that kind of talent. But this guy Burns, Mike, you can't figure him out. He's 6'5", he's 230 pounds. He's a forward, he's a defenseman. They turned him into a forward this year to play with Thornton, and he is so big to try to deal with.
Yeah, you talk about the talent of team. San Jose has one less power play goals scored this season than the Avalanche have scored. All right, there's your Subway scoring summary. 15-18 the time. And the Bortolo goal is 6th in the season. And Max Talbot with an assist along with O'Reilly. O'Reilly now with 36 assists. Talbot with 18. Thornton dragging the puck. Patient. Moving behind the net. Back to the point. There's Burns, number 88. One-timer by Pavelski, and it pinballs behind the net. And rammed around the boards and out. Sharks have got it. Burns looking to make a play. Comes to the cross for Thornton outside the blue line. His pass somehow got through for Pavelski. Pass in front, tipped it. It comes free for Thornton. Feeds back to the point. Thornton with the back against the wall. Power play, San Jose. Parenteau, high sticking penalty. Boyle rams one wide. Loose puck in front. Oh my, and that one is cleared away. Oh boy. Well, Joe Pavelski, 15 power play goals this season. Patrick Marleau with 11. Those are the guys to really watch. Center ice. Pass ahead by Havlat, broken up. 20 seconds left in Parenteau's penalty. Irwin picking his way into the zone. Gives to Hurdle. Back to the Havlat to the side of the net for Irwin. Rolled around the wall. Havlat into the cross. Couture shoots. Hit a teammate. Out of the box goes Parenteau. He's going to have a breakaway. Here comes Parenteau alone. He shoots. Save made by Stalock. Oh, man, what a chance they have. The other way comes Couture. Down the slot, he turns, he shoots off a skate. Hurdle after the puck for San Jose. His pass deflects to center. Oh, man, what a chance there.
You can only imagine what goes through P.A. Parenteau's mind in that situation. Okay, finally get an opportunity to Hurdle. Stalock comes with a big save.
Did he ever? Got by Shepard, and that puck went off the heel of the stick and goes wide. Tipped in by the Sharks from behind the net. Wingle trying to get free, get a little room, makes the pass back to the far side. Braun shot going wide, gloved by Giguère.
Well, Mike, we sit right above the penalty box, and I was watching. When the Avalanche got it, I was like, it was right there. And PA, of course, is one of those guys when when he's on his game, the Avalanche would pick to be one of the shooters in the shootout. He is so good in these kind of situations. But Stalock did a nice job of staying right with him.
He was going to wait for that glove to drop, wasn't he?
Just a bit.
Right over that.
Yep.
Thornton takes the puck for the Sharks. Cut off in the corner by Landeskog. 2-1 lead for the San Jose Sharks, but the Avalanche had the only goal here in the second period. 1 minute left in the period.
1 minute left to play in the period.
Avs come into the San Jose zone. Drop pass in the slot. O'Reilly shoots it high. On. Off the glass and out. 45 seconds remaining. And Erik Johnson trying to bring the puck in. The play is offside.
Let's look, Mike, at what's going on here. It's the games left for the those teams in and around the Colorado Avalanche. The Chicago Blackhawks have one last game at Nashville. That's tomorrow for the St. Louis Blues. They wait until Sunday to play Detroit Red Wings in an early afternoon game. The Avalanche, one game against Anaheim. Anaheim plays in L.A. tomorrow night.
Couture cuts in. Couture pass across for Marleau, and it's broken up. Oh, McKinnon, terrific play. Back the other direction into the Shark zone. Puck popped out to center. 12 seconds to go in the period. McKinnon chasing the puck. He'll get to it. Centers in the slot. Broken up. Marleau, Couture, just seconds left to go. One last shot. Stopped by Giguère. And that ends the period. But the Avalanche, they got him right where they want him.
And Mike
Giguère played well in the second period, made the saves, and they get the goal.
And they were turning it around. The defenseman jumping up into the play. So many good things for the Avalanche in that second period.
And they do it again, but maybe without Mr. Clutch. Tyson Barrie didn't play during that second period. All right, our score after 2 in San Jose. It's the Sharks 2, the Avalanche 1. Coming up is the Subaru Intermission Report. Colorado Avalanche hockey on Altitude is brought to you by Groove Subaru. On Broadway or online at grooveauto.com. KeyBank, unlock your possibilities. Pepsi, live for now. And by the Ford Explorer. It's time you did your exploring. Ford Explorer, go further. Avalanche got a goal during the second period. They now trail 2-1 against the San Jose Sharks tonight in San Jose. All right. What have we learned? Brought to you by CSU Global. Peter, certainly through the year, we have learned the Avs are never out of it.
They just don't quit. You look at the numbers, and they back that up. New York Islanders 9 wins when trailing after the second period. Colorado and Minnesota 8. And Mike, you look at one little number that shows you it's a group effort for the Avalanche. There's 2 goaltenders and 18 skaters. Of the 18 skaters for the Avalanche in tonight's game, 16 have a shot on goal. Everybody's pushing out. All the defensemen, all the forwards are all going for it for the Avalanche.
Although unfortunately the Avalanche are playing the rest of this game without one of their defensemen. And Tyson Barrie. And for the Sharks, they have lost Scott Hannon for the rest of the game as well with an injury.
That was one of those hits possibly earlier where maybe both clubs lost somebody on hits that were up high. Well, one thing about Patrick Waugh, he doesn't have to doubt whether this club can come back. It's just wondering which guy it's going to be.
Well, you don't have Mr. Clutch, though, here in the third period.
Absolutely, and that is a big loss because his confidence right now is just off the charts as far as making those big plays.
Of course, we're talking about Tyson Barrie, who had the big goal last night. 12:30 left to go in the third period. They give the Avs a 3-2 lead and eventual 4-2 win over Vancouver. Stalock makes the glove save on McKinnon's shot and has to hold the puck for a faceoff.
There's Captain Gabe Landeskog, McKinnon on the same line with Stastny. It was interesting last night. McKinnon started the game at center, and then as the game went along, Coach Waugh, as he often does when he feels there's a need for that real offensive push with Duchesne out of the lineup, he sort of stacks that top line with McKinnon on the right side.
Pass up the middle. Brought in by Thornton. Twirls to the boards. Dropped it down for Burns to take. protects the puck away from McGinn. Gives the puck to Thornton. Run out by Hayda. Goes it off the boards towards Pavelski. O'Reilly, though. Good play. Nice pass. Parento. On for Johnson. Dropped it back for Parento. Back to Johnson. Centers. And off the side of the net. Between the circles in the San Jose zone. Punched out to center. Hayda takes the puck. And he sails it all the way down the ice into the San Jose end. Stalock gives the puck to the defenseman. Jason Demers. Up ice. Tipped in to the Colorado zone. Race to the puck. Desjardins. Pushed away from the puck by Holden. Put it behind the net. Desjardins gets to it for San Jose. Off the boards. Back to the point. Demers throws it across. Stewart brings it around. Continued up the boards. Demers had pinched in. Trying to keep the puck away from Talbot. Rolls behind the net and Giguère out to play it. Up the wall. Sent towards the crease. Swept away by Giguère. Bordeleau backhands the puck out. And the give to Demers back in the San Jose end. Up the middle. Tipped by Shepherd of San Jose into the Colorado zone. Giguère trying to swing it around the boards. Had it blocked behind his own net. Shepherd gives the puck a kick. It comes free, but the Avalanche are on it. Benoit's pass slowed up. Thrown out at center ice by Wingles. Dribbles it in. Scooped up. Coming across. Shot. And where'd it go?
It's in the corner. Oh. I don't think, I truly, you're absolutely right. Nobody knew where that was. Referees were looking around. It just kind of disappeared. Shot comes right here, and I think it goes underneath.
It hit off the crossbar.
Yes.
Went straight up in the air.
This comes across.
From Melcott Sporting Goods, where your successful adventures begin.
Just sort of a little miscommunication. Ooh. The referee skates right through it, blows a whistle, and the Avalanche take that face off.
At center ice. Irwin. That puck pinballing around. Finally comes to the Avs blue line. And pass rifles by Landeskog, and the Avs are called for icing.
Oh, for Colorado Avalanche, they've had to shuffle up the defensive pairings. We've got Gannon and Holden together, Benoit and Wilson, and they've left Johnson and Hayda together. But if you're looking for the goal scorers, the Avalanche now with 5 guys over 23 or more goals. Of course, Matt Duchene, and I guess that's probably the next big question for the Avalanche. How long will he be out? Is there any outside shot that he could possibly be back for some part of the playoffs? I think it's Mike. Right now, it's a real outside situation.
Face off in the San Jose zone. Well, this Sharks team, they're going to be in the playoffs for the 10th straight season. It's hard to believe, but of all the 4 major sports, that's the 3rd longest streak in major sports. 10 playoffs in a row.
Well, of course, your beloved Detroit Red Wings have the #1 streak with 23 consecutive years, and credit to them, boy. They looked like they were out of it, and they're back in it again this year.
Saved by Stalock. They'll cover for another face-off.
Well, it is officially being called an upper body injury to Tyson Barrie, and there's the hit. Is he coming across high and hard right there? Certainly a blow to the face, and you don't know what you hope it is because he was looking at it. I mean, could it be his job? You don't even want to even venture a guess.
On for San Jose, wedged into the corner, trying to get free. Sharks lead by a goal. Both the goals came the first 10 minutes and 11 seconds. Since then, Giguère into the game, replacing the starter Reto Berra. Has made all the saves he's had to make. The Avalanche have gotten the goal. They really have been pushing the play since that halfway point of the first period.
And let's not forget, this is the San Jose club that walked into Colorado, had 49 shots on goal.
They're only 19 right now. The Avalanche have done a terrific job keeping those shots down. One thing we saw in that game the last time they played in late March, San Jose was shooting from everywhere. Any time they got a chance, they were shooting the puck. Pass comes up the ice. Here comes Pavelski. Winds and fires, and Giguère. Nice job of coming out. Gave Pavelski nothing to shoot at. Shot. Another save by Giguère. Two great saves there on Burns. J.F. Giguère coming in a relief role, and he's been terrific.
He's been strong. He's been aggressive. His angles have been perfect in tonight's game as Pavelski feels the pressure coming from his left side. That is where that hustling back by Johnson gives Giguère the opportunity, Mike, to just move straight out because you know Pavelski can't cut back into the middle.
He's a guy who's got 39 goals and just stopped. Shot off the chest of Giguère, and the rebound was wedged into the corner. Centered shot by Boyle goes wide. And all of a sudden, the last couple of shifts, the Sharks are getting some chances. Demers down the boards towards Thornton. Passes the corner for Burns. Johnson on him. Burns trying to protect the puck. His pass deflects. Comes to Boyle. Sends it floating into the circle to the side of the net. Handled by Burns. Walks out in front. Can't get a shot away. A poke check by McGinn. Parenteau, sending it out to center ice. Sharks onside. Burns coming down the wall. Forced into the corner. Pass back to the point for Boyle. He waits. Now shoots. And a body in front. McKinnon for the Avalanche. Coming out to center ice. Pass through the middle. Over the line. Marlowe's pass. Controlled by Couture. Cuts across in the slot. He shoots and scores. There were a lot of bodies going to the net, and Couture patiently waited and let one fly. Well, you can feel it coming for San Jose. The last couple of shifts, Peter, they're really putting the pressure on.
They had the big shift with Thornton, and now Logan Couture, Mike, who was such a good hockey player. They missed him when he was out with a hand injury, but Mike, this is where that poise with the puck. Watch, the puck comes right here, little move, and he walks up right there is where the play is made. Right there, Mike, when he waits just for a second, that's all the confusion happened in front of the net. Nice job right here, getting out for it, wait, and then just throws it top shelf. That's a big-time shot, big-time goal.
They go for the Sharks indeed. Making it 3-1 for San Jose. Point shot by Braun goes wide. Havlet got the puck back to the point. With that in center, Avalanche has got it. Over the line comes Landeskog, but Colorado is offside. 14-14 still to play here in the third period.
Yeah, for the Avalanche, they know they have that one game remaining, day off tomorrow. Then they have the one game against the Anaheim Ducks. What will Anaheim's situation be at that time as they play LA tomorrow night? Will they have already, if the Avalanche don't come back to win this game, will they have locked up the Western Conference?
But the game, the Avs don't come back here. That game will have meaning though for the Avalanche in terms of the division.
Yep.
Kennedy coming in. That's right. How much effort does Anaheim sit some players, rest them if they've already clinched the top?
They've had some guys, and you know, you don't necessarily want to see it, but they've had some guys play a lot of hockey, play in the Olympics.
Goal of the season, scored by number 9, Marty Havlat.
Kennedy's pass out to center ice, dumped into the corner.
They said that must have bounced in off Havlat as that puck was deflected by Giguère.
San Jose goal, scored by 9 Havlat from 39 Couture.
With the puck, Hana, pass back into his own zone for Erik Johnson. 3-1 in favor of the San Jose Sharks. Saved by Stalock. Again with the puck. We show you the Kia scoring summary. Marty Havlat getting credit for the goal. Logan Couture took the shot and off of Havlat. Marleau gets an assist. His second point of the game, and Havlat's second point as well. And Couture's second point of the game. O'Reilly in the corner, push there. The puck comes free for Hertl. And Demers for San Jose. Starts to move up ice. Makes the pass for Wingle. Up ice through the neutral zone. Racing after Shepard. One-on-one with Hayda. He shoots off the shoulder of the goaltender JSG Gear. Then behind the net, Wingle. Centered for Pavelski. It comes free. And a try by Boyle on the spin. The puck taken away by McKinnon. He gets around to Thornton. And the pass goes across the rink for Stastny to take. He gives to Landeskog. Going to charge down the middle. He is in. He shoots and it goes off of the goaltender, Stalock, and out of play. The San Jose Sharks have added the goal in the third period. It's 3-1 San Jose. Let's answer tonight's Stevenson Automotive Did You Know question. How many teams have gone from last place in their conference to first the next season? The answer is 0. It's never happened.
Never been done. The Avalanche, of course, were 15th in the Western Conference last year. But look at this now. So no team has gone from worst to first in a season. In 2011, 2012, Montreal went from worst to second in the East. And this is the one last year. Of course, the Avalanche were 29. And no 29th or 30th place club has ever gone any higher than the 8th. The Avalanche, like I believe, can't finish any worse than 4th. So they will establish a new mark as far as how quickly they climbed up the ladder.
Still, with hopes of winning the contest. Marleau, handoff to Couture. Bounces across the low slot. Landeskog pushes it up ice. And the pass goes down the ice and into the San Jose zone. Boyle will get to the puck. Circles the net. To the red line. Scooped away by McKinnon. His pass goes into the Colorado zone. Gannon, rink wide for Holden to take. Handoff goes to O'Reilly. In the slot, shot, saved by Stalock. And he covers the rebound.
I'll tell you, Ryan O'Reilly is really having a good game for the Avalanche. He's found guys through that seam. He's been handling the puck. And remember, he finds McGinn here. He found Johnson, Mike, on one of the prettier plays of the game so far. Finds McGinn right there. McGinn's looking for that last number, that one more goal to get to 20 again this season. But O'Reilly doing a good job at center for the Avalanche.
Sharks ends up with the puck. Holden makes the catch. Gives to McGinn. Backhands it into the Shark zone. Demers dropped in the corner for Stewart to take. Up ice for Burns. And out to center ice. Rink wide pass. Comes into the back of the Avalanche zone. Comes free for Thornton. Makes the pass. Side of the net. Back to Thornton. Checked by O'Reilly. There you go. O'Reilly doing the work on Thornton. Not easy to do. And the puck shot by Johnson up ice. The Parenteau gives to O'Reilly. Puts the puck to the corner. McGinn, centering pass. Bounces all the way back. Handled by Wilson. He shoots and misses. O'Reilly's got to get off the ice, and he does. Handled by Benoit. Shoots it across. Dropped into the far side corner of San Jose zone. Swung around the boards and drawn up ice, and it gets by Desjardins. The Sharks are called for icing. Visit your local Kia retailer today and get great lease and APR deals for qualified lessees and buyers on Kia's full line of quality vehicles. You can go to ColoradoKiaDealers.com and get all the details.
Well, with Detroit losing today and Columbus losing today, nothing really solidified itself on the eastern side either as far as who's going to play who. There's still a lot to be decided in the last weekend of the season.
So could that game, because St. Louis finishes up at home against Detroit. Shot by Landeskog, stopped by Stalock. Could Detroit have some meaning in that game for themselves?
For Detroit, absolutely.
That's just not a walk in the park for the Blues.
No, they got 91. Columbus has got 91. Philly's got 91.
And what they're trying to do is avoid playing Boston in that first round, right?
Like you can't believe.
Stastny stretching for the puck, but Stalock aggressive. The puck comes out to center ice, 2-on-1. What a move, what a defensive play by Benoit. Was that terrific? He just stayed with it and stayed with it. Orlo sends it down the slot, broken up. What a play by Andre Benoit. That was just terrific. Nice play at the line by Cleese. Poke checked away. Then a shot by Gennin. And the puck gets deflected out of play. And we'll be back with 9 minutes left in the third period. San Jose leads the Avs 3-1. Let's see what's on tap, brought to you as always by Coors Light. Well, it started with Anaheim, the first game of the season. It'll end with Anaheim as the Avs finish out the regular season against the Ducks. Sunday, we'll start our complete coverage at 5:30 on the home of the Avalanche, Altitude Sports.
And of course, what will that game mean for the Avalanche from Patrick Roy? Where will they play? Who will they play? We'll be watching some games tomorrow, certainly, and just keep an eye on the scoreboard as the Avalanche wind it down to the last game. Mike, how far has this season come since that first game? With all the question marks, what was going to happen, and all of a sudden that game against Anaheim, where Anaheim scored a late goal, and the Avalanche had been up 6-0 in that game.
A steal. Thornton cutting in, cuts across, pass to Pavelski, defended well by Gennin. Back to Pavelski, shoots, blocked by Gennin. And Gennin plays the puck up the ice. Got it out. Shot back across, and once again, Nate Gennin with the puck. Tejeda over the line for McGinn. Tapped away. Bounce back in front for O'Reilly. Hopped away from him. Played off the boards out to center. The Avalanche having to gamble a little bit, down by 2 goals. It's given San Jose a couple opportunities here.
And the minute you say gamble, what do you think about?
Tyson Barrie.
Well, that, but also the idea, when does Patrick Roy pull his goaltender? Because we have seen it all the way up to 5 minutes remaining in the game.
Well, a lot at stake here, so won't be surprised at whatever he does here in the third period. Seems like everything he's done has worked for Patrick Roy. 7:35 left, third period. 3-1 lead for the Sharks. Avs with the puck in the San Jose zone. Landeskog, center shot, big save by Stalock. He just robbed Erik Johnson. Pass comes up for Wingo, trying to get around Hayden. Backhand save made by Giguère. Hurdle. Pass to the side of the net for Wingo. Tommy Wingo makes the handoff. Desjardins trying to cut to the front of the net. He does! Wow, what a save by Giguère! And then a scramble for the puck in the crease. The referee has blown the play dead. But you gotta love that stretch of the veteran, J.S. Giguère. He put that right leg out to make a brilliant save.
And you could almost see him at the end of it trying to get out of that, because his leg looked like it was trapped underneath him a little bit, or underneath the body. But there's the nice, oh, what a stretch. Here's at the other end. Landeskog beats his man in the corner, and just one of those bang plays. Mike, the goaltenders are so big now. It just has to find that opening. It's so hard to make a shot in that area. You just got to put it on net as quickly as you can.
Boy, Giguère's played well in this game. Oh. He's done everything trying to keep this Avalanche team in. Just one goal, beating them. A tip shot by Havlat. Well, a nice shot by Couture. That's it. He came in relief midway through the first period. Back to the point for Benoit. Cancel on, shoots wide of the net. Talbot. By the center, broken up, slapped out in center by the San Jose Sharks. Wilson handles the puck for Colorado. Spreads the pass through for Talbot. He's into the Shark zone, poke check. And a giveaway to Bordeleau. Tipped out to center ice, a breakaway chance for Marty Havlat. Martin Havlat, save! On the rebound. His second goal of the period, and that makes it 4-1 for the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, that's one of those tough ones. Giguère made the save, and the rebound just comes right across to Havlat. And Mike, you talked about the Avalanche defenseman having to, gamble a little bit. But watch, a nice save by Giguère, and the puck like it popped right on his stick. Havlet, natural goal scorer, is going to put that one in, but that puck could have gone anywhere, and it's negative right on Havlet's stick.
That makes it 4-1 for San Jose. Pass by Thornton gets tipped into the bench. So Havlet, 2 goals in this third period.
And for Havlet, it hasn't been an outstanding season. This is a tremendously talented guy. That's just his 10th and 11th goals of the season. But if he could get himself started, if he is going to play on a line with Couture and Marleau, and with his kind of skill, that is a big-time line.
Well, where do you fit Hurdle in
well,
top 6?
Maybe Hurdle, eventually, gets his game legs, and that's where he goes, or you build a line around him on the third line. Pretty nice option.
Avs called for icing. So Havlet gets credit for a second of the game, 11th of the season. We show you the Kia scoring summary. The goal coming at 13:40. And the assist to Kearns and Desjardins.
Here's what we're talking about Havlet, that little bit of a bigger element for the San Jose Sharks. He's 6'2", 210. Hurdle is 6'3", about 215, 212, 215. So you a couple of big guys for the San Jose Sharks.
Punched in the corner by San Jose. Well, here goes Patrick Waugh. Now, about 6 minutes to go. He's pulled his goaltender, Peter.
Yeah.
Down by 3. Coach Waugh, about 6 minutes to go. He's pulled the goaltender. Remember that game against Boston? About 5 minutes left to go. You said you're down there on the bench. Boston couldn't believe what they were seeing. Loose puck in the crease, and it goes wide of the net. Thrown out in front. Scramble for the puck. Backhanded by Holden, goes wide. McKinnon puts it into the corner. Avs doing it again. Shot, another save. And the puck comes up the ice. And a deep in by Johnson. But then Couture bounce pass up ice. And Havlet's got a chance, and he gets it. Marty Havlik, a natural hat trick in the third period.
But it is interesting, obviously, the game over now, you would think. You never know with these guys. But the frenzy that they can put on when they pull that goaltender is pretty impressive.
Amazing.
I mean, the other teams seem to really start running around. The Avalanche just can't. And look at the effort right to the end. Now that was Nathan McKinnon diving. Watch McKinnon. Yeah, I mean they
don't give up this time.
Yeah, you basically got no shot, but he just tried his best.
Well, they've got some hats to clear off here in San Jose. Marty Havlet, a natural hat trick in the third period, putting this game away for the Sharks. They're up 5-1. We'll be back as they clean up the hats in San Jose. That's the intensity you see on the ice with the new overwhelming wealth scratch game from the Colorado Lottery. 3 chances to win an instant $1 million butterflies guaranteed.
Well, here's the Western Conference as it stands right now. And you see Dallas would play Anaheim if it stayed this way. Colorado, Minnesota, and the 2-3 matchups would be St. Louis, Chicago, San Jose, LA. That's today.
Do we know, Peter, what if Anaheim picks up a point tomorrow against LA? Who has the...
I believe...
Do we know who has the tiebreaker between the Avs and Anaheim if they end up with the same point?
I believe that Anaheim has 50 with the Rose. Okay.
Well, a chance to beat LA. As it struck up here in San Jose. Well, this Sharks team been around a long time now, and they've had some great teams. It's had 10 years in a row making the playoffs, but they've never gone to the Stanley Cup Finals.
They've had a couple of conference finals and a couple of times when it looked like they had a Game 6 here to win it. They didn't, and they had to go back to Detroit. I mean, there's been umpteen opportunities.
Game 6 in this building for the Avalanche they had to win. Peter Forsberg scored. They won it for the Avs, and then they went back home and beat San Jose. Well, 3:40 left to go in this game for the Avalanche. Day off tomorrow, and then back at it against the Ducks. And that will be the meaning of that game for the Avalanche in terms of conference and in terms of division come Sunday. Another big question, Peter, of course, will be, and unfortunately we've had this thing said too many times this year with the injuries the Avs have had, what will be the situation with Tyson Barrie? He was injured during the first period, came out at least to start the second period with the team, but immediately went to the locker room, and then we got the official word that would not return for the rest of the game. But no further explanation.
Certainly the biggest single question of it. And then you're down 5-1. Okay, the game, you didn't win the game, you move on. But Tyson Barrie, who's just proven to be, Mike, such a catalyst for some of these wins.
Here's another thing for Avalanche fans to think about, Peter. And depending on what happens tomorrow with Anaheim and Los Angeles, if you're Coach Waugh, who are you putting in net for the game against the Ducks? There was some sentimental value to having J.S. Giguère in net against, if the game didn't mean anything in terms of you moving in your standings, Peter, how nice would that have been for Giguère?
Right.
Great veteran, great leader, just been a wonderful teammate. If it's his last game to play against the team he won a Conn Smythe and a Stanley Cup for. But what if that game has a lot of meaning? You still give Giguère a start, or do you put Varlamov on?
And with the idea now, does that Wednesday, Thursday starting time change things? Now, because now the Avalanche know it's Thursday, because the Nuggets play on Wednesday. They can't.
Right. And they're going to be at home no matter what to start the playoffs.
Exactly. They're at home. The playoffs will start. Now, there is some talk that it might be Friday. Now, if there was some TV thing that was going to go on, a national TV situation, but Mike, for all intents and purposes, it would be Thursday for everything you hear. So now that is an extra day of rest, certainly, and it is a 5 o'clock game in Anaheim. It's a little earlier.
So there's a couple of questions. Who starts in goal Sunday? How is Tyson Barrie doing? How is Cody McLeod doing? We certainly hope we're going to see him on Sunday. The puck goes down the ice into the San Jose zone. We're down the last minute 40 of this game. So this series is going to get split by San Jose. They'll have won a couple of games. The Avs will have won a couple of games. The only team in the Pacific Division the Avs will play an even amount of games for. Everybody else 3 games in this division. Steal by Shepherd, pushing the puck ahead. 1:15 left to go. We got a penalty. And then Malone comes over after Bortolo was hit. Now Bortolo's angry, and he's trying to get something started with Shepherd. He gives him a little shove.
And Mike, the one thing also to remember to roll into that also is St. Louis plays Detroit earlier, so that Avalanche may know their fate that they've already won the Central Division. So, do you wait?
And then maybe if Anaheim has already won their game against Los Angeles tomorrow night, now you know you're not going to win the conference, and you've already won the division.
Exactly. So does that factor into it? So again, just things we're talking about that happen down at this time of the season when there's so many of those little decisions to be made that.
Well, James Shepherd takes a seat on the bench. Patrick Bortolo has been sent to the Avalanche locker room. We saw him leave, and there was Shepherd at the Sharks bench.
Number 48, Tomas Hertl. 2 minutes for boarding.
The penalties here in a moment. Sharks winning this one 5-1. It was a 2-1 game when the third period began. A natural hat trick from Martin Havlat. 5:26, 13:40, and then his last one at 15:04, an empty netter. Has helped the San Jose Sharks to the victory. Now Hertl has a 2-minute minor penalty, so the Avalanche are actually on a power play here in the third period. But Bordeleau, I believe, had got a 10-minute misconduct penalty, so
Just decided that
he's
was
gone.
enough. Let's just get this moving on.
But Hertl sits in the penalty box for the Sharks. A boarding penalty. Wilson at center with 20 seconds to go. And the Avs on their second power play chance of the game. Malone, handoff to Carey. Down low for Malone. To Guerin. Some players who normally wouldn't get some power play time finishing up this game for the Avalanche. Last shot by Guerin off of Stalock. Well, you got to tip your cap to Stalock. He made some really nice saves in this game for San Jose. He goes 1-2 against the Avs this season. Tell you what, he's putting his his mask in the ring, if you will, to be the starting goaltender come playoff time.
Yeah, in a game where the Avalanche outshot San Jose 33-30, and probably the chances were right there at even during the course of the game.
But Havlat was the difference in the third period. And let's tell you the order of the Forrest Molson 3 stars of the game.
Well, you got Ryan O'Reilly, who was very good for the Avalanche. He played down the middle at center for the Avalanche. Logan Couture, terrific game. What a hockey player he is. +4, 3 assists. And Marty Havlat, now that's got to be something the San Jose Sharks are thrilled with. The fact that he comes up with a big game and it looks like he's playoff ready right now for San Jose.
So for the Sharks, they get their 50th win of the season. They're at 109 points, but for the Avalanche, they got one more game to go. And what will that decide for the Avalanche? Our final score is 5-1.